Alright, this is Telman Knutson with the Self-Hypnosis Sequence. We're here for the third video in your series all about how self-hypnosis works, the anatomy of a self-hypnosis session, and in our first video we went over intention and setting a clear intention for exactly what it is that you want to get out of the first session you're going to create or any self-hypnosis session that you're going to create. The second was the induction. We talked about relaxing the body from the top of the head through the tips of the toes. That's the first step toward relaxation. Well, what's the third step? What's the third step to moving into the hypnotic process? The third step is what I call the treasure chest. And there are many metaphors, there are many examples of where this is used and how it can be used in a wide variety of ways that aren't called the treasure chest at all. But this really has to do with a method that relaxes the mind. Because if the mind is racing and the mind is distracted and the mind is second guessing, especially early on before you've learned how to do this proficiently, you're going to find yourself second guessing. If there's a sound outside, if a fire truck drives by or a police car drives by, or maybe you have kids and in the next room they make some noise, or maybe you forget to unplug the phone and the phone rings, or maybe somebody rings your doorbell, or whatever happens, we have distractions. Not only do we have outside distractions, but we have internal distractions as well. These internal distractions are thoughts about your morning, are thoughts about later in the day, their to-do lists, their worries, their anxieties, their concerns. They're areas in which you are thinking about things that tend to come to the surface as you're going from the conscious wide-awake alert state into the relaxed, calm, and comfortable alpha and then theta states that we call hypnosis. It's a natural process, and if you've ever tried to go to sleep at night and all of a sudden your head was filled with all the thoughts throughout the day, all the things that you did wrong, all the things that you have to do tomorrow, things that you forgot to do, sometimes things that you did really well, sometimes they can just be distractions of all sorts, sometimes they're just creative mental ramblings. All of these are completely normal, but they're not particularly helpful when you're trying to get your brain to make a change around a specific area that you set your intention for. And that's why we created the treasure chest. Think of it as a mental receptacle for both positive and negative thoughts. So what you want to do is you want to imagine a treasure chest, and it can be a super modern treasure chest or even a safe, or it could be a really old-fashioned pirate chest. I recommend that it's something with a nice solid lock on it, and you're the only one who has access to this treasure chest. And what you can do is after you go through and you do the progressive relaxation, you do the treasure chest technique, because you're going to be able to set your thoughts aside and worry about them later, think about them later, whether they're brilliant ideas that you come up with or whether they're negative thoughts that aren't particularly helpful to you at all right now. Basically, any thought or distraction that you have that comes internally, just a distraction, a mental distraction that you have that comes internally, it's a thought that you have, or an outward distraction, something you heard, something you see, something you feel, something you experience, something you smell, something you taste, all of these things, there's a really easy way to get rid of them. All you have to do is mentally imagine opening up the top of your treasure chest. And now imagine taking a mental snapshot, a mental photograph of that distraction. Imagine what it would look like if it could be captured on a photograph. That's it. Whatever you come up with is perfectly fine. There's no one judging you here on this. Whatever you think it would look like if you took a snapshot of it, take that photograph, fold the photograph in half, stick it inside the treasure chest, close the box, close the lid, and lock it. That's it. And you can imagine that, so you take a few minutes to mentally pull those things out and put them into the box so that if you notice outside distractions, it doesn't shake you out of your hypnotic trance or the hypnotic state that you're trying to achieve. Likewise, if you have mental distractions that are keeping you from being completely and totally focused, the treasure chest is an absolutely incredible way for you to place both positive and negative ideas and thoughts in there. You can come back to them later at any time, at the end of the session or even in the future. It's a subconscious receptacle for your thoughts and distractions. So, when you're using the treasure chest, a great place to do this is as you're beginning to go through the progressive relaxation, and then immediately afterwards spend a few minutes to literally take mental snapshots of everything you can think of that's a distraction, put them all in there, and then mentally imagine that your treasure chest is kind of floating and following along with you, kind of in the background, just outside of your peripheral vision, as you go through your hypnotic experience, as you go through your self-hypnosis session. That way, if anything were to happen, a mental distraction of any type were to happen while you're in the middle of your self-hypnosis session, you can simply open that box, take a snapshot, fold it in half, put it in there, close the box, save it for later, and you're ready to go. So that's the treasure chest technique. It's the most effective mental clearing technique that I've seen, and you can just keep on doing it. If the same thought comes up a few times, keep taking snapshots, keep putting it into the box. Sooner or later, it'll stay there. And what you're going to do is you're going to find that the more you do this, the easier it is to clear your mind and focus entirely on the change that you're making as you go through the self-hypnosis process. So very, very, very cool stuff. That is the treasure chest technique. So step 1 was intention. Step 2 is induction. Step 3 is treasure chest. Step 4 is deepener, and that's what we're going to be talking about next. This is Talman Knudsen with the Self-Hypnosis Sequence. If you like this video series, share it with all your friends by clicking on the social networking buttons just to the left of this video. Please leave your questions and comments in the video in the comment section below. If you're enjoying this series so far, definitely leave a comment. Let me know what you like the most. I love getting feedback from all of my clients. So this is Talman with the Self-Hypnosis Sequence, and we will talk to you about the deepener in our next video in a couple of days. All right, bye-bye.